Good afternoon and welcome to Locked On NBA Daily. On today's show, Draymond Green questions the Warriors' commitment to winning. What changed since the start of the season? Plus, the NBA announced sweeping changes to the All-Star game, and you'll never guess, it is super complicated.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On NBA Daily, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network. However you're tuning in on YouTube or on your podcast app, thanks so much for making us your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. I'm Wes Goldberg. Today, we are talking about Draymond Green calling out his Warriors teammates, Sacramento potentially on the brink of blowing it up, and a problem that could complicate the new All-Star game format. We're doing it with the help of Locked On's local experts. I have two of the best with me, as always. From the Locked On Nuggets podcast, he's a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. It's Matt Moore. Matt?
Well, I thought we'd be able to make it until January or December, at least until I had to start talking about All-Star. But no, the new host comes in here and wants to talk about it in the second week of November. Haize, I miss Doug Branson.
From the Locked On Bulls podcast, he's also a Bears and Bulls creator for Bleacher Report. It's Haize.
Yay, All-Star game.
We will get to the All-Star game, and
we're really excited to talk basketball, we promise. In general.
It's going to be a lot of hypothetical All-Star stuff and hypothetical blow-it-up scenarios on today's episode, it feels like, because we have to start with the Warriors, who got crushed with the Thunder last night. They've lost 5 of their last 7 after a 4-1 start to the season. After that Thunder loss last night, Draymond Green said that the difference between last year and when the team pushed for that playoff spot after the Jimmy Butler trade and this year is, quote, I think everybody was committed to winning back then and doing that any way possible. Right now, it doesn't feel that way, end quote. Haize, I want to start with you. Steph has missed 3 of these recent games with an illness, although he was back against the Thunder in that blowout game. But are you concerned about the Warriors given their recent losses and then Draymond's comments?
No, I'm not too worried about it. It's too early in the season to worry about it. This is an older team. Yeah, they have some depth issues. I still don't think this is the final team that we're going to see out there. I do think a Kuminga trade is coming at some point in this season, which is going to change the way that we look at them towards the playoff run. They'll get it together. Steph is going to be healthier at the end of the season. Jimmy's going to go into Jimmy mode at some point this season. I think the Warriors will be fine overall. I still don't have them as championship contenders, but I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, that's kind of what Locked On Warriors said today, is they were just like, well, we thought they were going to be, they had a chance to be really good, but like not as good, like not a championship level team. And, they talked about last night being the bar. I don't, as much as I want to crow here for, I am on the Warriors are kind of fraudish train. Like, look, they faced the Thunder in OKC. This Thunder team beat the snot out of everybody. The Thunder absolutely cracked the Nuggets last year in their in the Nuggets home opener. The Thunder cracked them in that game, and the Nuggets took them to 7 when the playoffs came around. So like, we're a long way from when the Warriors have to do this. There's 2 concerning pieces of information here. One, I don't feel like they have enough firepower. Like, their offense is actually the weak point here. And that's crazy to think about with Steph Curry, but this is one of the problems. Is just like, okay, Steph hit a 3. Okay, like, you can live with it. Like, it's just not enough pain to really get you to start freaking out defensively, where you're like, well, if we just shut down everybody else and Steph has to score 60, he might do it, but like, we're in a pretty good spot. Like, you don't have enough firepower, Steph Curry. That's concerning. And then 2, they're only +3 this season with Steph Curry on the floor. Now, Steph was sick, right? So like, Steph's going to play better, and then that will bump up, right? Every 3 that he makes will bump that up. But I am just like a little concerned that when you start looking at, okay, you have to like annihilate in those Steph minutes. That's how you're built. You are a top-heavy team with 3 guys making a lot of money. And that's not happening. And especially when you have Steph and Jimmy on the floor and you take Draymond off, that thing plummets. So those are the concerns that I have. I don't want to sit here and be like the Warriors are bad. They're going to miss the playoffs. But I am just like, there is no way to talk me into the Warriors can make the finals.
Yeah, I think going into the season, you saw the names on this roster and you're like, yeah, if things kind of break right, Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, Steve Kerr, the infrastructure, all this stuff, maybe this is a team. There were people, not necessarily on this show, that were picking the Warriors as legit contenders.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a concern, I think, for maybe those people, it's that this team does look really old right now. And we knew it, right? You know that you see the ages on the roster on the paper right there, and but it's a little bit like you haven't seen your grandpa in 3 months, and then you see him again, and you're just like, oh, whoa, what happened? It's just a little bit different now, and you're just a little bit more worried every time he gets up off the couch now. And then obviously the big difference here is Jimmy Butler, who just took 3 field goal attempts in last night's loss against OKC. He's taken a combined 28 field goal attempts over the last 3 games. Matt, to your point, he's sort of the guy, right? When Steph is either out of the lineup or not on the court, he's the guy who they acquired to lift all these other things. Locked On Warriors talked about that in their post-game show last night.
Kolsky had a little chuckle there at me saying you got to win games. You're truly not concerned whatsoever about this start, are you? I respect that.
This start is not so far away from what I expected. And the things that are different than I expected were the ugly losses that we talked about last week. You know, I thought they had a chance to be 8-4 given some of those other things, but it wasn't because I chalked this one up to a win. And I'm with the guy who commented about Jimmy Butler. Of course you wish he was more aggressive, but he's not. He's 36-year-old Jimmy Butler or whatever he is, and I think we did know that.
Matt, Haize, I'm not taking any victory laps here. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Wes, what show do you think you're on, sir? This is where we do that for petty purposes. I'll just like, oh, this is 36-year-old Jimmy Butler. Dude, he could have been 34, 33, 32. This is Jimmy's entire MO, where it's like one game, he doesn't do anything. And the next game, he scores 46. And everybody's like, could you believe how good Jimmy Butler? He is him. And then the next game, he scores 15. And no one says a word. This guy skates because he's never been asked to be consistent. He has never had to do that. He has never had to be a consistent superstar because of the talent and teams around him. This is what you're going to get, man. Great passes, smart plays, good rebounds, a timely three-pointer every now and again. But, like, you're not, like, if you're thinking that Jimmy Butler is going to pick it up when Steph's low, I got other news for you.
I mean, he's going to do it at times, right? Like you'll see him do it for a game or two stretch, right? And that's what you're hoping for. But you should have known that was the Jimmy Butler experience when you got him in here. Like that's just like, now I will say this, as much as I do like Jimmy Butler as a player, it used to be different when Jimmy wouldn't take a bunch of shots, but he was playing elite defense. That defense has been on the slide each of the last 3 or 4 years. So you do want him to pick up something some places, but you're going to have your games where Jimmy does that. But if you're expecting him to do it consistently, you're just I don't know what Tiger doesn't change his stripes, especially not this far into their NBA career.
I want to go back to that quote from Draymond where he says he doesn't think that everybody's as committed to winning as they were back last season after they made the Jimmy Butler acquisition and they made that playoff push. And I think some of this is just expected, right? They needed to play with urgency. Steve Kerr has basically said after the All-Star break, after that trade deadline, we were basically already in the playoffs. Clearly, that's not the case at the start of the year. You expect to take the foot off the gas a little bit. But I can't help but read that quote, guys, and just say and think, yeah, you know, Jimmy Butler is sort of that guy, right? He's the guy who takes games off in the regular season. He will tell you that it's maintenance, right? And that he's getting ready for the playoffs. But the guys on Locked On Warriors talked about this last night. It's not a guarantee. Like in the Eastern Conference, you could pretty much just turn it on in the play-in tournament, beat Haize's Chicago Bulls, and then make it into the playoffs and then figure it out. That ain't the case in the Western Conference. They're going to have to win some games here. And so I do think that there are some concerns about, you know, when this team is going to have to kind of kick it into high gear. But general concern level, Haize, Matt, you guys aren't that concerned about the Warriors, all things considered?
You know what? No. You're not just going to skip over that casuals shade towards me and my team. Like, where's Doug at? I'm over this West experiment now.
Taking shots at the Bulls, making us talk All-Star in November. So my concern level, if I was low on them before, like, how am I going to be concerned here? Again, I think it's weird. Yeah, I understand why we're having the conversation, because it's just like they weren't even on the class of Golden State last night. Like, they didn't belong on the court.
Mm-hmm.
I do think some of the quotes are concerning. This isn't the first quote that's come out about this. There are consistent quotes coming out about how they do not like the vibe of this team and all those type of things.
Yeah, another one from Draymond about everybody's got an agenda kind of stuff now. Yeah,
and I don't know. Look, that could be one of the role guys, right? Like, I think it's easy to kind of project this on a Jimmy. He could be like, no, Jimmy's fine. Like, Jimmy. I know who Jimmy Butler is.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in, he works every day, and he got paid. I don't know who it is, right? I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like it should be Kuminga. Kuminga's done all the stuff that he's supposed to this year. Here's like the bright side of this entire, not disaster, but pretty rough start. When you have the core four on the court, Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, and Kuminga, that combo is plus 11.9 net rating. Like, they're great in those minutes. It's Quentin Post, Brandon Pajemski, it's a little bit of Moses Moody, it's Al Horford a little bit. That's not been great. I really liked what they've gotten from Will Richard, but like they're probably okay. Locked On Warriors was talking about a consolidation trade though, and that, to me, I think, is the next interesting question: is like, what other old guy are they going to go get?
DeMar DeRozan.
Ooh, let's do it.
He's old enough. Klay Thompson, maybe.
Oh,
that'd be fun.
That'd be hilarious if they went back. If they got Klay. That'd be
they could use some shooting. The NBA announced a new All-Star game format with some new guidelines on how players are going to be selected. Even though Matt and Haize don't want to talk about it, we are going to talk about it next. But first, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Taking a look at some of the odds right now, you could still get rookies other than Cooper Flag to win Rookie of the Year at good value. Flag is still the big favorite, the best odds to win Rookie of the Year. If you're in on VJ Edgecombe, maybe Dylan Harper when he gets healthy and back in the lineup, maybe that's a direction you want to go. Also looking at tonight's games, we were just talking about the Warriors. Spurs, 4.5-point favorites at home against the Warriors, who are coming off of that game on Tuesday night. So they'll be playing on the second night of a back-to-back and could be without Steph Curry and Draymond Green, who could take the night off for rest purposes. 4.5, not that big of a spread. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's episode is brought to you by Built. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by turning your rent payment into real rewards that you can actually use. When you pay your rent through Built, you earn flexible points that can get redeemed toward hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and much more. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around your entire neighborhood. I love that with Built, your rent finally works for you. You're earning points every month on something that you already have to pay. It's a no-brainer. Whether I'm grabbing food at my favorite local restaurant or I'm heading to the gym, I'm still earning rewards. Built has made everyday life feel more rewarding, from your neighborhood to your travel plans. Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's joinbuilt, joinbilt.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure to use that link so they know we sent you. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily. The best way to support the show is to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on your favorite podcast app. All right, let's talk about this new All-Star game format that the league announced yesterday, guys. I sense the eye rolling, but here's a bullet point version of this new All-Star game format. So you're gonna have two teams of U.S. players, one team of international players. That's gonna be the world team. So U.S. versus the world. They're gonna compete in a round-robin tournament featuring 4 12-minute games, otherwise known as quarters, but whatever. The 3 teams will each have a minimum of 8 players. Not complicated enough? Good. This year, the All-Stars will be selected without regard to position, but it's still going to be 12 players from each conference. You're going to have 12 players from the East, 12 players from the West, but you're not going to need a certain amount of guards in the starting lineup or whatever. It's just positionless all the way through. And the process for assigning players to the 2 U.S. teams, they still haven't determined that yet. They're going to decide that some other time. All right. Not complicated enough? Good. We've got more. If All-Star voting does not result in the selection of 16 U.S. players and 8 international players, then Adam Silver is going to be able to select additional All-Stars to join either group in order to reach that minimum. Now, what happens to the kind of extra players if there's, say, 20 U.S. players as there was last year? Nobody knows. So this is the new All-Star game format that the league announced. Feels like the league is clapping their hands and being like, look how cool this is. Matt, do you like the change? Muted.
Sorry. I fell asleep a little bit. Well, All-Star. Yeah, I think the round robin format's really good, and it'll be interesting to see. Look. Here's the big thing. Team USA should be motivated to do this. This feels like, honestly, like a little bit of like Team USA is going to be like, yeah, let's take our game back. Yeah, which I don't know if we really want that in today's environment, but that's fine. We can go ahead and go down that road. One of my problems with the Team USA versus the world format is it assumes that the world is like all together on the same team. And that's bizarre to me. Like, Giannis is from Greece. Jokic is from Serbia. What bond do they have? Shea is from Canada. What bond does he have? Like, what? We're playing for international pride? Like, they don't share pride? I get it. It's cool. But this just feels like feeding into the angst that people have about so many good international players being in the NBA. Maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe it'll be fun. I don't know, man. At this point, I'm just kind of like, if something works, I will perk my head up and be like, oh, cool. But they have killed so much of my interest in this because I still have zero reason to believe, Haize, that the players are going to try.
That's what this comes down to. Like, we can try 100 different formats. Like, at this point, like, I don't even know if Adam Silver realizes and then be like, changing this every year doesn't give time for people to adapt or to even know if they like the format or not, because you're changing it every single year. On top of that, if the players aren't invested in there and they're out there lollygagging and just going through the motions, it's not going to matter no matter what. The format is not the problem. It's the level of competition and care that go into an all-star game that's the problem. Regardless of what the format is, that's not going to all of a sudden reinvigorate some level of interest from these players to give more in the all-star weekend. It's just not. It's not going to do. At this point, shoot it. Kill it dead. The all-star game needs to die.
The NBA has a problem of overcomplicating things. They just add layers to stuff and expect it to solve everything. They don't even throw money at the problem. They just throw more stuff at the problem, create more problems, and then walk away wondering, like, why isn't this working? It's because nobody understands it. Nobody understands your salary cap. Nobody understands your All-Star game. Nobody understands this Elam ending where you add 24 points to the score at the end with X minutes left or whatever it is. Nobody gets any of this stuff. A round robin tournament where quarters are now games, but games are still quarters, and we don't really know who's on the all-star teams. And then you're just going to pick all-star teams, but if they don't match this exactly specific amount of where these people are from, then you're just going to have the commissioner just name additional all-stars just because of this new arbitrary thing where you have to fill out these rosters. I don't understand at all what the NBA is doing here.
Well, Wes, I'll push back a little bit. Like, I personally, I'm an overthinker, so like I like overcomplicating it. I want it more structured. I think making it simple just results in like the lowest common denominator. Like, would you like this if it was like a normal all-star game, but we're gonna split it in half, which I don't think you can really do given the split of who's good in the league. But let's say that you did that and you selected the 12 best international players and the 12 best US players, and they
what if you just picked the 12 best players from one conference and had them play the 12 best players from the other conference?
And it sucks like it has every single year.
But if it sucks no matter what,
just make it
don't leave it sucky.
Don't make you have to read stuff. Is that the
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. The way we don't need to do a whole solution thing, but my thing this entire time was always just make the All-Star game, make it, take it, and then they'll just play defense. And
I have
get
a better
the ball
one.
back.
I have a better
horse.
one that just kind of came to me. Haize, what do you think about this? You only get 12 All-Stars a year. Only 12, not 24. You only get 12 All-Stars a year. You win and you get to be called an All-Star. You lose and you don't get to be called an All-Star. You do not get the All-Star nod on your resume.
Ooh, you're playing for the little star on the basketball reference page. I like that.
I don't hate that. I don't hate it.
Because
it's better.
Now
It's-
you
it's
change. Now you
something.
got to change the contract rules to where it's like you're still eligible if you get chosen
Right.
for the game. Right? It's
Yeah.
not fair to be like you must play or you're losing out on $56 million because Trae Young didn't want.
Or make it like the Olympics, right? Where you almost medal, right? Like you have the gold all-star, and then you have like a bronze all-star. Nobody wants the bronze one. You want the gold one.
Now who's overcomplicating things? But like, yeah, make it to where if you win, you get to be an all-star, and if not, you don't get to be an all-star.
So because we have this US team now and this world team, and we're still trying to select things based on conferences. So you still have to have a certain amount of players from the East, a certain amount of players from the West, and you put them in a pile, and then you hope that it all breaks out evenly with 16 US players and 8 international players, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's not going to work every time. But we're going to try to pick the teams after this. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with a high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. I love that you're getting the same quality service that you had before, but for a fraction of the price, and the setup is super easy. You keep your number, and then you're running in minutes. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. That's mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent of $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigs on the unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. We'll be right back. I want to get to this report about the Sacramento Kings potentially blowing it up. But before we do that, I thought it would be fun to maybe select, or not select, but kind of put together a long list of the 16 U.S. players and the 8 international players that we need. Keeping in mind that, again, positions do not matter. Matt, I want to start with you. Just guys right off the top of your head for the U.S. team that basically you think in Sharpie got to be on this thing if we were going to do this right now.
Okay. Should I do this based off of who's been good or like the history of the All-Star game, which rewards people for their name?
I mean, let's go with guys that should be good. Like I said, we don't have to come up with the full names, but guys that you think are at least interesting enough for us to talk about here that should be on this team.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yes.
Julius Randle deserves to be on this team. He has been so good for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, like, I'm not saying he's like a starter, but that to me, I actually think that he deserves to be on that. Cade obviously has to be like one of the first selections. He's been amazing. Jaylen Brown's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you put Haize? Would you put Jaylen Brown on there?
Yeah, I mean, you haven't mentioned Tyrese Maxey yet, who I think has to be on the list. But yeah, this is a conversation for Jaylen Brown.
Tyrese Maxey's got to be definitely. I agree. Tyrese Maxey's got to be on the list. Which of the Knicks did the Knicks get 1 or 2 selections? Well, wait, nope. Yeah, Cat qualifies for US. So, did the Knicks get 1 or 2 selections?
I think Brunson has to be on it.
Yeah,
so the question you're asking is Cat.
Yeah.
The question is like Brunson gets on. Does Cat also get on?
Can I throw another similar question? Did the Pistons get 1 or 2?
If they keep up this pace through December, they have to get 2 because it has to be Cade and Jaylen.
Yep. I think Duran's got to be on it right now. Austin Reeves, another American player that's going to have to be on it with the numbers that he's putting up. International players, Jokic, Giannis, SGA, Luka. All right. We know that those guys are going to be on it. Victor Wembanyama. Yep. Anybody else? I mean,
has to be on it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that the international guys are easier to be like, yes. Like Josh Giddey has to be on. Like he's got to be on.
With his numbers right now, yeah, I would agree with that. Pascal, has Pascal had a good enough season to be on?
He has, but his team has won
Yeah.
one game.
So bad.
Yeah.
And his numbers actually haven't been great. How about Avdia?
That's
Ooh, that's
so
a
when
really
we
good
start
pick.
getting into the 8 international players. So I put a list together of guys that are gonna have to be on it, and it's the names that we've already kind of talked about here. Giddy, I think, has to be on it. Denny Avdia is one of those guys who feels like he should 100% be on the All-Star team, but because the international team is sort of capped at these 8 guys, I don't really know what happens with these other guys. Like, he could still be named an All-Star, but is he allowed to compete? I don't really understand. Is Jamal Murray, Matt?
I was just about to ask, like, do you put Jamal Murray on or Denny Avdia? Like, Avdia's numbers are way better, but like Jamal is playing at a really high level for the second best team in the Western Conference. He's been great this year. He's really played awesome. He's shooting 55% from 2, 37% from 3, 97% from the line. His assists are up. So he's been really good this year. Here's another one. How about Lauri Markkanen?
Gotta be on it.
Got to be on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's what's crazy is that, like, it feels there's the names that we have to put on the All-Star game. Like, Steph Curry's got to be on it. Kevin Durant's got to be on it. And that makes it easy. But, like, it seems easier to find the international guys to be
We just named 11 guys.
Yeah.
We just named 11 guys, and there's 8.
Only 8, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And Adam Silver just said that he can rearrange them based on whether or not they have connections to the U.S. So I think that might be the solve is, and I don't know what the connection to the U.S. is. Is it just you work in the United States and therefore now you're just going to be on the U.S. team? I don't really know.
You know who's got to be on the U.S. team is Book.
Devin Booker has to be on it.
Oh yeah,
Look-
we completely overlooked Devin Booker.
So, well, here's a good one. Do you want Book or Austin Reeves? If you had to choose one.
I'm going Reeves right now.
I gotta go
just based on the
Reeves.
body
His
of
team's
work.
winning more.
Yep.
I'm going Book. Book's been awesome. He's
You'll
been
probably
awesome.
get both
He's
of
the
them.
number 1 option every night.
You'll probably get both of them on. We didn't even mention guys like Steph, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards. I mean, the star players. LeBron James is going to get votes just from the fan vote part of it, even though he hasn't played anything yet.
Cedric Howard, obviously.
Obviously. All right, let's get to this recent report that the Sacramento Kings are going to consider reshaping the roster if things don't improve soon. What would blowing it up for the Kings look like, Haize?
The hell if I know. I don't even know. Like, who wants what they, other than Sabonis, like, they have pieces that can help teams, but nobody really wants them. Like, DeMar DeRozan can help a team, but then again, he is DeMar DeRozan. You have to play a certain way with him. Zach LaVine's contract is ridiculous. There's questions around him. And exactly, like, at this point, you get if you're blowing it up, get as much as you possibly can for Sabonis. Take the best offer on that, and then just hope that you're going to, between DeMar, Zach, and a couple of other players, that you can collectively get maybe 2 low first-round picks.
I don't know. I like this idea conceptually, Haize, but I just do not know if it, like, it may be a really terrible idea. So I've been kicking this around for a while now. Is Sabonis to the Cavaliers for Jared Allen and pieces? They've, like, had 3-way talks with the Pels before, with Jared Allen going to New Orleans, which could help the Kings out by sending them somebody young, right? Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, 2 small guards, and Sabonis. Can DeAndre Hunter and Evan Mobley make up enough defense for those guys?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, like, my question. Like, I actually have bandied about the idea of, like, do you trade Darius Garland for, like, what if you traded Darius Garland to the Kings for Domantas Sabonis and then traded Jared Allen for more defensive wings? It's like a massive overhaul of a team that won 65 last year. I get that. Like, it's a massive overhaul of a Cavs team that's good enough right now to win the Eastern Conference. But just, like, I feel like if you're going to trade for Domantas, you can have Domantas or Garland, but I don't think you can have both. But I do kind of like the idea of, like, hey, Kings, like, if Darius Garland gets healthy, he's like an all-star guy. You're going to trade all your other guards anyway. You want a point guard. Mm-hmm. So that to me makes, like, a little bit of sense. The simple one here is probably going to be, like, Jared. It's got to be Ja for LaVine, right? Like, that's easy. Like,
I like Ja for Sabonis.
You just, like, swap problems. You can't do Ja for Sabonis because Zach Kleiman will literally throw himself in front of a bus for Zach Edey. So you can't get him. So unless you're trading Jaren Jackson Jr., which at this point I'm kind of like, save Jaren. Like I'm kind of in on that. And
would
like
Pacers be interested in Sabonis?
So I don't know what you do there with the Pacers. Like, I think you have to just be like, guys, the year is lost. Like, let's evaluate the team next year when we get Halliburton back. If we get Halliburton back and we get a center, then we can like look at what we need to do. But I don't think you can make any, like, you can't make any decisions on this roster because of what has happened to them.
I'm trying to figure out a way to get Levine to Milwaukee.
I do like that a lot.
It's a big number
Levine
that they
playing
can't
off Giannis
quite.
would be great, but yeah, I don't know.
They'd
how
have to
you
include
get
like
contracts
6
for it.
contracts, even with Kuzma and Bobby Portis, which is losing 2 rotation players.
Dallas, maybe, because the offense is so bad. What if you trade Clay and a couple of other things and got Levine to Dallas? And then you have theoretically Kyrie, Levine, AD, Flag. Levine makes life easier for Flag by being a floor spacer, but he can also bring the ball up. It's not bad. Like, basically, I started this list just by who are the terrible offenses and would they have reason to trade for Zach LaVine? Like, the Wizards won't because it's like we just drafted Trey Johnson. We have Zach LaVine at home.
There could be something for Toronto in here that needs a floor spacer. Like, is there like a quickly plus something for Levine? But that, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a Toronto move. But then again, they have kind of a new front office, so who really knows what a Toronto move is?
And this is what's so difficult about if the Kings do decide to blow it up, because there's
Their
just
team
not
stinks
value
and nobody
for a
wants
lot of
their
guys.
players.
And the contracts are so ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
the contracts are ridiculous.
If I'm another team, I'm calling about Devin Carter, Keon Ellis. These are the guys.
Yeah.
Would they ever move off of a Keegan Murray who's still young and has potential? You know, those are the other questions.
Here's one. If they move Sabonis, you could swap Levine to Portland for Robert Williams and components, and that gives you an offensive boost. You have enough centers behind him with Hansen Yang and Donovan Clingan, and then the Kings get a center that they can actually, like, theoretically, if he plays, play with. DeRozan,
The problem there, Matt, is Robert Williams for Levine. You're still $30 million short on matching that contract.
I know. The one with DeRozan is like, I want him to go somewhere where his professionalism makes a difference with the culture. That's why I like him on Charlotte. Like, I like a Miles Bridges for DeRozan trade. And I know it's like, you're going to send DeRozan to Charlotte. And it's like, yeah, man. Like, DeRozan will have way more impact in helping LaMelo Ball learn how not to screw around with so many possessions than he will on Golden State getting ripped apart in the playoffs. Like, that to me
I don't know. He didn't help Zach LaVine not turn the ball over in fourth quarters.
I really just need Zach LaVine separated from DeMar DeRozan. I like Zach LaVine so much. He's second in half-court offense this season, or he was going in last night's game. Like, I love Zach LaVine's game. It doesn't translate into impact, and I know all the problems with him. I just would like to see him in a good situation. You know what the good situation is? Not playing next to DeMar DeRozan.
What about Levine for Kawhi?
Oh, that's a good one.
Think about it. We'll talk about it maybe on tomorrow's episode. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thank you to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making Locked On NBA Daily your first listen. We're going to see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On NBA Daily.